Okay. Today we're starting Unit 4, applying linear equations. These are our word problems. So I'm going to read the word problems and then I'm going to show you how to do them. They're not as hard as you might think word problems could be. And a lot of them don't require you to actually answer them, more like set them up. So it says a rental car company charges a base fee of $38.85 plus 42 cents per mile driven. If X represents the number of miles driven, which of the following equations could be used to find Y, the total cost of the bill? There's a couple of keywords here. Keywords that you're going to see actually as you're going through solving word problems or setting them up, I should say. You're going to see the word base fee quite a bit. And you're going to see the word per. When you see the words base fee, that just means a guaranteed price or something that you have to pay, but it doesn't change. So I'll write that. Okay, so the price doesn't change. It's something that you have to pay just one time, okay? And whenever you see the word per, this is going to be a big word that you're going to see a lot. Per means times. All right, that means it's going to change. That's the thing that varies. It varies to every time that whatever it says. Like in this one, this varies per mile, okay? So the price goes up every mile that you drive, okay? This is something that varies. And since it varies, whenever you see the word per, you're going to want to use a variable, okay? So when you're setting this up, you have to find Y. Y is the total cost. So Y equals. And if we're just writing this, as we're reading it, I'm going to start reading it again. Y is the total cost, okay? So it says a car rental company charges a base fee, okay, that's something that doesn't change, of $38.85. So I know that if I'm going to rent a car here, I'm going to be paying $38.85 at least, okay? Plus, it literally tells you what to write. It wants you to write plus. It also charges you $42 per mile driven. So you're going to write down 42 cents. And there's the word per. And I told you, every time you see that word, you're writing a variable. In this case, if you look up at your choices, you see that they're using the variable x. If it was a multiple choice, you could use whatever variable you wanted. Probably if I was choosing, I would use m for mile, so I knew what the variable stood for. Since we're using x, I'm going to use x too. So 42 cents per mile, 42, 0.42 x. Okay. Now look up at your choices. None of them are written quite like how I have mine. Okay? They have the dollar signs in front of the money amounts. I don't. It means the same thing. They just have it flip-flopped. They have it going in descending order. So we could do that too. If we're writing this in descending order, the number with the variable has to go first. So 0.42x, let's put a dollar sign in front of it since our answers have that. And this is a positive 38, so you could write plus 38.85. Oh, I forgot my dollar sign. And then just look up at your choices. One of them is going to match this. And the choice that matches this is A. All right. The important thing is the base fee does not have a variable, and the number that has per right after it, that's the number with the variable. Also very important that you're not combining them. They're not like terms. 38.85 does not have an x. You cannot combine that with the 42 or 0.42x. Okay? Let's move along. Similar problem. Carson is a salesman at an insurance company. He receives a monthly salary of $1,236 and a $215 commission on each policy he sells. If Carson receives his commission check at the end of the month along with his salary check, which of the following equations can be used to determine the total pay for the month? And it tells us what to let X and Y stand for. So X is the number of policies he sold, and Y is the total amount that he earns for the month. So you have to, again, think about what different words mean, given different words. He receives a monthly salary of $1,236. Salary is something that's guaranteed to you. And again, this doesn't change. This is like your base fee. Okay, so salary is something that doesn't change. All right. Another word that strikes me is the word each. Each works the same as per. Because it varies. Since it varies, you need a variable. Okay. Because Carson could sell one policy. He could also sell 0. He could sell 25. And that's the change that it makes on the total amount he earns in the month. Okay. At the end of the month, he knows he's walking away with $1,236. That's not going to change. What does change is that amount of commission that he earns. Okay. So that depends on the amount of policies. So again, I'm going to set this up. So we have Y equals the total amount he earns equals. Well, he's definitely earning $1,236. That's not changing. If it doesn't change, it doesn't get a variable. Okay? And usually the word and means plus. In addition to him getting that salary, he's also going to be earning $215 on each policy he sells. $215 on each variable. Okay. So when all is said and done, if you want to find out what Carson makes in the month, you take your $1,236 that he's definitely earning, and you add how many 215 times however many policies that he's selling. If he sells 0 policies, you have $1,236 plus 215 times 0. So he's only making 1,236. All right. The more policies he sells, obviously, the more money he's going to make. They don't have, again, our answer is not written. I didn't write it in green in descending order, but it requires you to in your choices. So I'm just going to flip-flop and use dollar signs. So 215x plus his salary of $1,236. And that matches choice C. Right? No thinking outside of the box, no real skills required to answering this question. Just very straightforward. Here we go. Another very similar problem. They're using some of our same words, some different words, but they added a little twist to this one. Again, especially this word right here, fixed. I don't know how much more obvious they have to be with their words, but fixed means, if I got a definition or a dictionary and looked up the definition, it would say something like it does not change. Fixed is something that stays the same. So a company has a fixed operating cost of $1,976 per month. Okay, so that $1,976 is the same price that they have to pay per month. With a production cost of $13.23 per unit. If each unit brings $33.57 in revenue, which of the following equations represents the profit for the month? Okay, so basically, we're looking per month. So kind of avoid that per, because we're only talking in 1 month. So you also have to note that cost is something that's negative. Cost is taking stuff away, all right? It's taking away from your profit. So like, if you go into a business and you want to sell, I don't know, what do you want to sell? I'm looking at pens right now. So say you want to sell pens. Well, sure, you could charge a cost for the pens, but it also costs you money to create them. Okay, so every month this company has a cost that is about $2,000. Okay, $1,976 that they're losing, that they're spending to make whatever they're making. Okay. So it costs them, again, the word cost, so we're thinking negative. It costs them $13.23 per unit. Okay, so that's more negative money. If each unit brings, so this is what they're earning per unit, is $33.57 in revenue. Revenue is positive. Which of the following equations represents the profit? Profit is what you earn. Okay, and in the bottom, in the parentheses, they tell us X is the number of units made per month, and Y is the total profit. And it tells you what profit is. Profit is the money that is left after the costs, after taking the costs out of the revenue. So profit is what you get to take home. That's cool, right? Oops. So the thing that doesn't change is negative $1,976. That does not change, it's fixed. They know that they are going to be spending $1,976 every single month. So for this month, we're only talking 1 month right here. We're going to be spending $1,976. Okay, that's certain. With a production cost again, negative, of $13.23 per unit. They call it X. See, X represents the number of units. So X. If each unit brings $33.57 in revenue each, revenue is positive. So if they're getting $33.57 for each unit, we have to set up an equation that represents this, which we just did. All right. Cost is always going to be negative. Revenue is always going to be positive. All right. I don't like that they said per month, because that's just, we're just looking at the 1 month. Okay. So that's why I don't have to put a variable by my $1,976. Okay. It's already fixed. That's something that doesn't change every month. And since we're only looking, the question just asked over the course of 1 month, that's why I don't have a variable by $1,976. Something that you should note, in our problem here, both of these numbers have variables, and it's the same variable. Therefore, they're like terms. So I have to combine them. So you have y equals negative 1,976. And then you have negative 1323 plus 3357. And that gives me a positive $20.34. So for every unit that they sell, they're really just making $20.34 from it, which is pretty good. Okay. So you have to take the cost, the price that it takes a unit, the price that it costs a unit to be made, and add it to how much they're going to make per unit. If that's a negative number, then the business is bad. That number should be positive always. Okay. They should always be earning more for a product than it costs them to make. What I mean by that is, if it costs you $5 to make 1 pen and you're only selling the pens for $3, you're down $2 every time you sell a pen. Okay? Don't buy a pen for $5. That's ridiculous. I'm going to write this again, descending order. So you have y equals, well, they don't have dollar signs here. Thankfully. So you have 2034x minus 1,976. And that answer matches C. Okay. Oops, sorry. All right. This is very similar. It seems very similar to Carson's question. It says Marcus works as a salesman at a car dealership. He is paid a base salary of $1,176.25 each month. That's what he earns, definitely. Okay. And he receives a commission of $193.76 for each vehicle he sells. If last month Marcus earned $6,795.29, how many cars did he sell last month? Okay, now we're getting into it. All right, so we know that Carson makes, definitely for sure, he makes $1,176.25 no matter what. All right, he's guaranteed that. And he receives a commission of $193.76 for each car he sells. So I'm going to call that X. That's what changes. That's what varies here. Right? Base salary stays, but when it varies per, when something varies per amount that you sell, that's what you give the variable to. And Marcus, he really killed it that month. He earned $6,795.29. That's great. We have to figure out what X is. X is the cost, or is how many cars that he sold that month. All right. Now it feels more like a word problem that you're used to selling. Okay, that's how you could set it up. You don't have to set it up like this. It doesn't ask you, our choices don't say, hey, how did you set that up? So we could do this in a couple of different ways. Okay. We could solve this like an equation by subtracting $1,176.25 from each side and then dividing. Or you could just look at the word problem, take how much he earned, subtract that from the base salary, and then divide. Okay. So you don't necessarily have to set up an equation. I'm going to because I'm your math teacher. But understand that there are different ways to solving word problems that don't always involve setting up an equation. I'm going to call this my variable side, and this my number side. I'm also going to fix my line here. I need more space over there. On my variable side, this is a number, and it does not belong there. So this comes down 193.76x. My equal sign comes down, and this is a number on my number side, so I just copy that. However, I circled 1,176.25. So when I circle something, I change the side that it's on and the sign that it has. So here on the left, it was positive. So when I bring it to the right, I make it negative. Okay. So this next step, I'm just bringing down the amount. And then we're combining like terms on the right. So what you're doing is you're taking $6,795.29 and subtracting it from $1,176.25. And when you do that, I have to change to red, you get 5,619.04. The last thing that any of these word problems do is you divide by the number in front of X. That's the theme of what we were doing there. So you're going to divide both sides by $193.76. to get what x equals. So x equals, so you have $619.04 divided by $193.76, which gives you 29. That's a crazy amount of cars that he sold. Maybe he sold one per day that he was working. Good for him. Good for Marcus. Okay. All right. This next problem that you're going to see has a lot of stuff going on. The problem, I'm going to read it, but then what we're going to do, we're going to simplify it for ourselves. So what you're reading is important because I'm just going to pull out a couple of things, okay? Megan is completing her chemistry and geometry homework. Each chemistry assignment has X problems, and each geometry assignment has Y problems. She must complete a total of 71 problems. The equation below describes the relationship between the number of chemistry problems and the number of geometry problems. 4x plus 3y equals 71. The ordered pair 5, 7 is a solution to the equation. What does the solution 5, 17 represent? So I'm going to take us out to the whiteboard. Oops, there's some problems that we did together. Okay. There's a couple of things that I need to point out, and I don't have enough room to write them there. So it's important for you to note that an ordered pair consists of two variables, an x value, or two values, an x value and a y value. X is always going to be first, okay? What our problem gives us is that the solution was 5, 17. Based on this, we know that x is equal to 5 and y, well, that's equal to 17. So let's come back to our problem really quickly. I need to know what x and y represent. In order to figure that out, you're going to come back up into the main problem, the one on top. It says each chemistry assignment has X problems. So X represents the problems in the chemistry assignment. Okay. And Y is represented by each geometry assignment. Okay. Each geometry assignment has Y problems. So I'm going to take those two statements and write them here. The first one said each chemistry assignment has X problems. And each geometry that's a sentence that I'm looking at. So guess what? Look at our choices here. It says Megan must complete 5 chemistry assignments and 17 geometry assignments. Well, that's not true. That's not the sentence that we wrote. Megan spent 5 minutes on her chemistry homework and 17 minutes on her geometry homework. Well, that's not what it said either. Each chemistry assignment contains 5 problems, and each geometry assignment contains 17 problems. Okay, so over here, oops, whiteboard. If you take this, now you know that x is 5 and y is 17. So instead of writing an x, you can write a 5. And instead of writing a y, you write a 17. So you're just looking for this sentence in your choices. All you had to do is figure out what x and y meant and the values. So this sentence completely matches this sentence. C. Okay. We know that x is 5 and y is 17. X is 5, y is 17. That's what it tells us. And now you're just replacing those numbers in your sentence. So instead of x, I'm going to change my color. You have 5. And instead of y, you have 17. Okay, just find that sentence and put those numbers into it to find your answer. All right, I'm going to try to zoom in here. Be able to make it bigger. I'll fix it then. So it says to indicate which property is illustrated in step 8. So what you're going to want to do is come down to step 8. Okay, and see what property that they're using. So in order for me to tell the difference, I also have to look at the difference between step 7 and step 8. Okay, what are they doing that's new? So you could tell this is the same. Plus 27 is the same. So all of this here is the same on the left. And the zeros match on the right. The thing that's new is that they're adding a negative 27 to each side. Okay? They're adding the opposite. So you're looking at this word here. It says inverse. It means opposite. Okay? So A says the inverse property of addition. So they're doing the opposite of addition. And that's kind of what it means. If you're adding the opposite, adding the negative, then that's what it is. So your answer here is A. And guess what? Anytime that they ask, let me zoom out. Hold on, let me try to. Oops, I do not want that there. Anytime that they're asking for step 8, let me undo a lot of this. just make it smaller again. A lot of things that I did to this. Almost there. That's as far back as it'll take me. That's not what I wanted. All right. So here's your hint, though. Step 8, the answer, if they ask about step 8, is always so for those of you who stuck it through, there's your answer. That's what it's going to be on your test. They ask for step 8. Here we are. Here's another one. Ask for step 8. Well, I don't care what step 8 says. I know that I'm using the inverse property of addition. Whatever it says, whatever this says, I know that that's what it is. Right? They're adding the opposite. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for applying linear equations.